What's up, everybody? It is finally time. It's finally arrived. We've been waiting forever. It is 10:10. It's time for the Tesla product launch. A very important product launch, I think. We get to see what the RoboTaxi is like. We get to see what there's rumors that maybe a couple extra caveats thrown in there. But anyway, so right as I'm coming on, let's see here. Right as I'm coming on, Elon just texted or just tweeted, X'd, however you want to call it, this photo here. It's a map of the different themed areas that they've got tonight. You know, they're doing this in the back lot of Warner Brothers, so they have that kind of city built for filming and everything else. So they've kind of taken that over and have different stations and stuff like that. So it looks pretty cool. So the big deal tonight, the big news, the big reveal, hopefully that's going to be, is the autonomous rideshare, or hail, like a cab, but without anybody in it. It's going to be fully autonomous. I've got some mixed feelings about it. Well, I'll get to the second part in a second, but so this new vehicle, this cyber cab that they're calling it, it has no steering wheel, no brakes, no gas or anything. It's just seats, fully autonomous. You'll be able to use your phone, an app, call for a ride autonomously. This vehicle will show up, take you where you want to go. So, you know, I'm really surprised. I'll show you this. I am kind of surprised that JD Power and Associates did a survey of people, and see what it says. 8.5 out of 10 said this was a great idea. This is something that they would use. Uh, I have concerns. Anytime you're in something that's fully autonomous and you can't stop it, like you have no control, that's a little scary because software bugs happen, mistakes happen, sensors go wrong, sensors detect the wrong thing. And I can't imagine being in one of these vehicles and unless they have some kind of like emergency stop button or something like that, I can't imagine being in one of these and having it, take off somewhere and not being able to stop it, just being able to trapped. I'm sure they'll take care of that. But the other part of the cyber cab ride sharing deal is that they want to launch the ability for you to be able to basically rent out your own vehicle for this hailing service. So if you can imagine you had a day off from work, you're just going to sit around and watch movies all day. Instead of your vehicle just sitting in the driveway, you could opt in for it to be used for this service, and then it would autonomously leave, go out, take people where they needed to go. And let's say you wanted to get groceries at 3, you could tell it to be home at 2:30 in the afternoon, and it would make sure that it was back and in your driveway. The thing that concerns me with this is if anybody, any of us that have stepped in a public restroom can attest, when people don't own something, they don't necessarily treat it with the most respect. That concerns me. I can't imagine just sending my vehicle out to random people to use, for random people to use. I don't know exactly what condition it might come back in. So that's kind of a concern for me. But as far as the fully autonomous cab, I mean, a lot of people from this survey seem to like it. Doesn't sound like a horrible idea. I've got some concerns, and that's that and the other, but I'm sure it'll work out. So it's a very important night. Tesla has had some dips this year. They've had some dips in stock. This was supposed to happen in August. Elon postponed it because the prototype wasn't exactly where he wanted it to be, is what he said. And if you've ever seen one of these events that he's put on for either Tesla or SpaceX or Neuralink, he likes it to be flashy. He likes it to be done. He likes to wow and surprise. So it wasn't where he wanted it back in August, so he postponed it till today. So we should be able to see what the cyber taxi looks like. I've heard it called cyber taxi. I've heard it called RoboTaxi. This is a kind of a concept drawing that has been done, that's been passed around. And as you can see, it's just 2 seats in the front, no steering wheel, no gas pedal, anything like that. I did read that they are going to put in an ability, be it a button or however they do it, for people to dial emergency services if there is an issue. I'm sure that makes people, feel a lot safer and everything. But we're going to get a reveal on those things. We are tentatively looking at reveals on other things, such as the Optimus robot. This is an autonomous robot that Elon has kind of teased working at different gigafactories and things like that, different parts of his factories. Fully autonomous robot to do, replace humans, basically. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. We're going to, my background is in process automation. I have designed and installed assembly lines and things like that take people's jobs. That's kind of where we're headed when it comes to AI and automation. a lot of menial tasks, a lot of repetitive tasks that are traditionally done by people, have to be done by people. Things like this are going to take over. Supposedly, there's been some updates to it, and we're hoping he's going to tease something about that. And then there's talk about him possibly presenting the Model 2, which is going to be, the Model 2 is supposed to be like the more economical version of a Tesla as far as the Model 3. That's kind of how Elon's that's kind of been his philosophy with Tesla. He started off making very expensive, very nice vehicles, and he's worked his way down when it comes to how economical they are, how expensive they are. Start off with something that is more expensive, but it's more handmade, and then as production is built, as factories are built, as automation is figured out to make these things, the faster they can make them, the lower the cost is. So we had the Model 3, they got it down to more of a consumer level. This Model 2 is supposed to be a step down from there, even more economical, a little bit compact, but more accessible to most people. So there's talk about he may, people are not sure, but there's talk about he may reveal one of these, and he also may reveal the Tesla van. This is another thing that he's been working on, or Tesla's been working on, a van on the Tesla chassis. So, it's, I don't know, looking at that drawing, I don't know if you call it ugly after seeing the Cybertruck. The thing about the Cybertruck, though, was it had novelty to it because it's so out of place. It's designed so much different than anything else. So this more has a van shape to it. It's definitely another option, but we're not sure if he's going to tease that, if he's going to reveal that. There's still some talk and this, that, and the other. Let's look at Tesla stock. So this is how their stock has performed this year, and this is why I'm saying this is kind of an important reveal. You can see that their stock has dipped over the summer. It dipped a little bit, and it was back on the rise. The thing is, they did not meet their Q3 earnings numbers. They were short a little bit. And this reveal tonight, this product launch, though it has the Cybercab, it doesn't have the typical flash, or is not expected to have the typical flash that most of the product reveals that his companies do. When he had revealed Starship, he had the giant stage with the Starship in the background and everything else. It was big and it was bombastic and it was flashy. Neuralink showed off so many different things that they could do with their new technology. This just revealing the rideshare part of it, is that enough? Are enough people going to be excited about that? Is that going to raise their stock? Insiders say probably not. They're expecting this to be kind of disappointing. Elon's never disappointed, so other than time frames. So we'll just have to wait and see how this turns out and what they reveal. There's a lot of speculation around it. There's, from the things I've shown, that's stuff that I've just picked up from the internet that people have, kind of speculated. Hey, he might reveal this. He might show this. With Elon, there's no telling. There's no telling what he's going to come up with. So this should start in another 3 minutes. And we can get going. I'm just going to stream it. I'm not going to be on the camera or anything else. I just wanted to kind of get some feedback and see. I'm interested. I'm not really a Tesla guy. I want one. I haven't pulled the trigger on one yet. I don't really follow Tesla that much. I'm more on the SpaceX end, and we're going to, should SpaceX launch the Starship Sunday morning, we are going to live stream that as well. I'm more on the SpaceX end, but when I saw this pop up with Tesla, it was definitely something I wanted to check out and see. So we have about 2 minutes. Let's see. I have not myself streamed anything from X. I've only ever streamed from YouTube, things like that. So hopefully this is set up correctly. Hopefully it'll just automatically start. And I won't have to do anything. My watermark's all in the way. That's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back. I'm going to make this full screen and we're going to watch this and check it out, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. This is a long lead-in video, I'll tell you that. But, gosh, when they streamed everything like SpaceX, when they streamed everything on YouTube, it 4K crisp quality, great bit rates, and then Elon bought X, and he wanted to drive traffic to it, or bought Twitter. He wanted to drive traffic to it, so he moved all of everything that they stream, all of their product launches, reveals, anything like that, all the SpaceX launches, everything, he moved it all to X. And thousands upon thousands of people have mentioned that the quality is just not as good as it is on YouTube. But it's a business decision, I guess. So, I guess they're just waiting for everybody to show up. So I'm going to go back to the background and watch along. What do y'all think? Think it's going to be a 15-minute intro video? I know they're trying to build suspense and let everybody get here, but we've been waiting for this since August. We're all here. Let's see. They've got 1 minute. I wonder if it'd be a 15-minute. What do you think? 15? That's a nice even number. I'm surprised they're not starting with a hype video, even if it's not the products they're going to reveal, even if it's past products. I'm surprised they're not showing that kind of stuff off, just using this geometric thing. Oh well, we'll sit back and see. There's 15 minutes. We're still running this, so. There's probably some pothead that smoked a blunt and then sat down to watch this, and he is tripping his balls off right now. Okay, I just went to X, Twitter, whatever, and double checked to make sure I didn't get duped on a dummy stream or anything like that. And no, this is what they're streaming. So I just wanted to make sure. Yes, this is the actual Tesla stream. So. as soon as they go to the live feed, I'm going to dip out. I'm just kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm surprised they're starting with a 20-minute lead-in. Especially that's not, like I said, like a product video or a hype video or anything else. And like I said, even if it was past products, like I know they don't want to blow their reveals for the night, but even if it was past products, something we could follow along and everything else instead of just geometric patterns. But Elon's a complicated guy. He likes to do things his way, so. Like I said at the start of the stream, I think the autonomous taxi, cybercab, RoboTaxi, whatever. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a decent idea, and I think it could be profitable. But the whole idea of renting your own personal vehicle out when you're not using it is. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine anybody doing that. I mean, we're all chasing passive income, right? It's what we would all love to have, something that made us money while we did nothing. We put no effort into it. But spending $35,000-$40,000 on a vehicle, your own vehicle that you depend on every day, and allowing strangers while you're not around to get in it and get driven around, and I'm sure 90% of participants, 90% of occupants would treat it with all due respect. I'm sure it wouldn't just be a wasteland, but all it would take is one person, one drunk, call your vehicle to get taken home from the bar, and they've had 10 too many tequila shots and burgers and fries before they went to the bar, and then the whole entirety of the interior of your vehicle is ruined. That part I'm not sure about. That part I'm not sure how that will work. We've hit the 20-minute mark and we still have just geometric patterns. Their stream on X has 1.1 million people watching right now. So, for all the critics and pundits and everything else, journalists and whatnot, who said this would be disappointing, well, the attendance certainly isn't disappointing. Pretty big weekend for Elon's companies. We're looking at Sunday morning, the 5th flight test of Starship Super Heavy. SpaceX is going along like it's a sure thing. The FAA still hasn't issued them a launch license, so there's some confusion there. They're putting so much work into it, everyone's assuming that they have inside knowledge that they're going to get that license issued before Sunday. But at the same time, it could just be a ploy to put pressure on the FAA to hurry up and issue a license. FAA has not been they've not been timely in their investigations and getting the paperwork done and everything else. And SpaceX, as well as Elon, have said publicly it was a bit ridiculous. So, you know, this goes well, and then you have Starship fly Sunday, and that goes well. They do a booster catch. You know, it's a big weekend. Wonder if... But I was saying earlier about them moving away from YouTube. That's the first comment that has, you know, 3,000 likes is, hey, could you please stream this stuff on YouTube again? Because like I said, X just doesn't have that infrastructure built in to handle so many. It's 1.3 million viewers right now, and you know, trying to distribute to all those people at a good bit rate. Really wish he would move back to YouTube, man. When everything was on YouTube, we had crisp video and crisp broadcasts. All right, what do you think? We're going to stop at 9:25, a 25-minute intro video, or are we going to go the full 30? I guess we're going to go the full 30. I'd be interested to see if they are going to address the fact that Tesla doesn't have certification for fully autonomous driving. Right now, it's supervised autonomous driving, meaning there has to be a person behind the wheel just in case something goes wrong. And with this rideshare cybercab that they want to put out, of course, they'll have to be fully autonomous. Google is, several companies are running fully autonomously. The difference with Tesla, though, is the way Tesla's doing it. The other companies that are doing fully autonomous vehicles, the areas that those vehicles work in, everything is mapped out ahead of time. Tesla's different in that they don't operate off of mapping, so they can go anywhere. They can go where no Tesla has ever gone before. I'm not sure how much that plays into the fact that they haven't been able to get that fully autonomous certification yet. But with all the data they're collecting, I'm sure it won't be too long. All right, 2 minutes to what I'm assuming is going to be the start. As soon as they actually kick off with the display, I'm going to drop out and we'll just watch. I'm going to say it now. I really hope that van doesn't look as bad as some of the pictures I've seen. If they show it off tonight. The gist, the thought, is that they're going to show, obviously, the Cybercab, the Optimus robot, upgrades to it, the Model 2, and the van. But a lot of that is speculative, other than the Cybercab. Well, that's the 30-minute mark. Okay. And just checking the stream on another device to make sure that, yep, they're still running the old geometric patterns. So, like I said, I'm surprised that they didn't run any kind of hype video or anything like that, you know. And like I said, they don't necessarily have to, you know, blow the reveals that they're going to do tonight, but I guess it is the smart thing to do, though, because they started at 9 o'clock with around 1 million viewers, and they're up to 1.7 now, this far into it. So I know it's crazy, right? The millionaire company, the huge giant global company, knows more about this stuff than I do. It's unfathomable. Every time the music drops down, I'm like, okay, is this it? Is it about to start? 1.9 million viewers. Almost to 2. No, I'm not going to get into politics. But if you follow X, if you're a user of X, the platform, you may have noticed that Elon this year has picked up a new hobby. And I wonder if any effect, if there will be any effect on the companies. You know, he's kind of the face of everything. He started it all. He kind of represents them, but really they are autonomous. I'm sure he's there for big decisions and everything else, but he has been what I'm really trying to tiptoe here. God, I'm trying to tiptoe. He has been engaged in things that most people would find distracting this year. So I'm not sure that there's a metric that any of us regular people could look at and be able to say, yes, it's had an effect or it hasn't. But it's just something that interests me. All the stories you hear about him building SpaceX and Tesla and everything, it was a sleep in the office, 20-hour days with spotty overtime, 7 days a week. And I don't know, and I'm not saying that it isn't still the case, but I just don't know if it is still the case, or if he's got other interests or endeavors and are just letting these companies just kind of run. But he's responsible for a lot of innovation. So there's the 40-minute mark. So, like I said, we've got Starship, Super Heavy, Sunday, hoping to launch. Still hasn't gotten a license to launch, but that's the hope. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. They passed the 2 million mark. They're at 2.1 million viewers. I kind of wonder if they're going to go the full hour with an intro. If you didn't see at the beginning of my stream, Elon retweeted a map somebody had posted on X of the grounds this evening. They're in the Warner Brothers studio lot, that little town area they kind of have in the back for filming, and they have areas of that kind of with different themes. And I think after the presentation, the whole gist of it, what's going to happen is getting autonomous rides around to these different areas and seeing merch and stuff like that. So that was it. I thought that was it. $2.2 million viewers now. I just pulled the stream up on another browser and just to see chat, and they have chat turned off. They're not allowing chat, so I didn't expect to be on camera this long. I would have prepared a bunch more to say. Like I said, it's not that I'm not a Tesla person. I don't own one. I would love to have one day. And I follow them relatively closely. But I'm not, a creator that specializes in them like other. I'm more of a SpaceX guy, so you know, I didn't expect to have to fill so much time. I can't just stream of consciousness spit off Tesla facts like some people can. I am interested to see what they have for the Optimus robot. My background is in electrical engineering and process automation, so I've worked on a lot of robots. None of them look like a human. I've worked in car manufacturing facilities doing upgrades, and like I say, none of them looked human-like. None of them walked on 2 legs, so wondering what exactly the plan is for that Optimus robot, because normally when you're doing robotics for manufacturing, mass manufacturing or process automation, the robot that you design for it is specific to the task that it's designed for. So there's no extras, there's no frills or anything like that. So having a robot that is of the human form means that its use is so much more applicable in so many more scenarios. But at the same time, when you make something or when you design something that is supposed to be used across a broad spectrum, its proficiency across that spectrum is reduced. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I've read that there were some upgrades or something that they were going to be showing tonight, so I'm interested to see what their plan is for that, what it can do. It's the way we're headed. Robotics and automation. See what they're up to. 2.4 million viewers. I can only assume that they're going to go the full hour for an intro. It's ballsy. Like I say, as soon as they start the presentation, I'm going to dip out. I'm not going to have camera or microphone or anything. And the broadcast quality, if it looks a little fuzzy, it's that way from X. I'm looking at it right now, the feed coming in, and like we talked about earlier, when Elon bought Twitter, he needed to drive traffic to it, and the principal way he could do that was to move all of his company's live streams and reveals and launches and all that other fun stuff to over to X, and it just doesn't have the same broadcast quality, which is a shame. But it is what it is. So close. Alright, well, I'm going to guess we've got another 10 minutes of this. That's what I'm guessing. So, I am going to dip out for a second. I'm just going to let this run. And I'm going to go get some water and check on my puppy dogs. And hopefully this presentation will actually kick off at 10. Or 10 Central. Another 9 minutes. So, I'm going to let it run. Enjoy.
Statements made in this presentation are forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties. Actual results may differ materially from those projected. More details can be found in the written materials.
Ladies and gentlemen, here, everywhere, online, around the world, outer space, I'm Franz. And on behalf of everybody at Tesla, welcome to We Robot. Just want to thank Warner Brothers for hosting us here. As you know, this is the birthplace of many epic films, many of them depicting a vision of the future. We're here tonight to experience that future that is closer than you think. And who better than Elon, right, to show us that future? So it looks like Elon's on his way, so let's welcome him up here.
Welcome. Welcome to the Wii Robot Party. So we have quite a show for you tonight. I think you're gonna like it. As you can see, I just arrived in the RoboTaxi, the cyber cab, and there's 20 more where that came from. So they've been traveling. There's no people in them, as you can see. The car's just going by with no people. And we have 50 fully autonomous cars here tonight. So you'll see Model Ys and the cyber cab, all driverless. You'll be able to take a ride in the cyber cab. There's no steering wheel or pedals. So I hope this goes well. We'll find out. So you see a lot of sci-fi movies where the future is dark and dismal, where it's not a future you want to be in. So, like, I love Blade Runner, but I don't know if we want that future. I think we want that duster he's wearing, but not the bleak apocalypse. We want to have a fun, exciting future that if you could look in a crystal ball and see the future, you'd be like, yes, I wish I could be there now. That's what we want. So when we think about transport today, there's a lot of kind of pain that we take for granted that we think is normal. Like having to drive around LA in like 3 hours of traffic. Yeah, and people that live in LA, I mean, try to get from Pasadena to, El Segundo during rush hour. It's like you can fly to, another city faster than you can get to cross town LA. So, and you have to drive the whole way. Unless you're in a Tesla, of course. Our Tesla already does quite well at this, supervised self-driving. So supervised full self-driving is actually working quite well. I'm sure there's people in the crowd, you're using that, yeah? So we'll move from supervised full self-driving to unsupervised full self-driving, where the car, you could fall asleep and wake up at your destination. So, but there's also a challenge for a lot of people that cars cost too much. I mean, when you factor in everything that goes into a car, and the car insurance, and the car payments, and the storage of the car, it's very expensive. So and you say, like, how many hours a week are cars used? Your average passenger car is only used about 10 hours a week out of 168 hours. So the vast majority of the time, cars are just doing nothing. But if they're autonomous, they could be used, 5 times more, maybe 10 times more. So you could actually, for the same car, would have 5 times as much value, maybe 10 times as much value. There's 168 hours in the week, and like I said, only 10 of them are used for driving. So, and then a bunch of those hours are looking for a parking spot, which is, can be pretty annoying at times. So we want, with autonomy, you get your time back. This is a very big deal. So it's not just it'll save lives, like a lot of lives, and prevent injuries. I think we'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human. I mean, if you think of times past where there used to be an elevator operator in every elevator, but once in a while they get tired and they accidentally shear somebody in half, So now we have automated elevators. You just get in an elevator and you press a button, and you don't even think about it. And it just takes you to the floor. And if you did see an elevator operator with a big relay switch, you'd be like, that's weird. Now that's how cars will be. And it's not just the lives saved in injuries, but if you think about the cumulative time that people spend in a car and the time that they will get back that they can now spend, well, I guess, on their phones or watching a movie or doing work or whatever you want to do. You can think of the car in an autonomous world as being like just a little lounge. You're just sitting in a comfortable little lounge, and you can do whatever you want while you're in this comfortable little lounge. And when you get out, you will be at your destination. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So in fact, I think the cost of autonomous transport will be so low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit. The average cost of a bus per mile for a city, not the ticket price, because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of cybercab, we think probably over time, from the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile. And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile. So yes, and you will be able to buy one. Yes, exactly. And we expect the cost to be below $30,000. And I think there'll be an interesting business model where, like, let's say somebody is an Uber or Lyft driver today, where they can actually sort of manage a fleet of cars and sort of manage, I don't know, 10, 20 cars, and just sort of take care of them like a shepherd tends their flock. You have your flock of cars, and you're the shepherd, and you take care of your flock of cars. I think that would be pretty cool. I think it's going to be a glorious future. It's going to be really something special. So, yes, good, all excellent questions. We do expect actually to start fully autonomous, unsupervised FSD in Texas and California next year. And that's with the Model 3 and Model Y. And then we expect to be in production with the Cybercab, which is really highly optimized for autonomous transport in probably, well, I tend to be a little optimistic with timeframes, but in 2026. So, yeah, before 2027, let me put it that way. We'll make this vehicle in very high volume, but well before that, you will experience a robotic taxi via the Model 3 and Model Y program, and Model S and X too. But your 3 and Y will achieve unsupervised full self-driving with permission in wherever regulators essentially approve it in the U.S. and then to follow in outside the U.S. So, and it's Cybertruck too. Yes, of course. Sorry, I don't want to forget. Yes. All our cars are basically all cars that we make. So let's not get nuanced here. All right, next slide. So one of the reasons why the computer can be so much better than a person is that we have millions of cars that are training on driving. So it's like living millions of lives simultaneously and seeing very unusual situations that a person in their entire lifetime would not see. But hopefully, yeah, exactly. So with that amount of training data, it's obviously going to be much better than what a human could be, because you can't live a million lives. And it's also, it can see in all directions simultaneously, and it doesn't get tired or text or any of those things. So it will naturally be, like I said, 10, 20, 30 times safer than a human, just for all those reasons. And I want to emphasize that the solution that we have is AI and vision. So there's no expensive equipment needed. So the Model 3 and Model Y and S and X that we make today will be capable of full autonomy unsupervised. And that means that our cost of producing the vehicle is low. Now, we are going to actually overspec the computer for the Cybercab. So our AI5 computer will be somewhat overspec'd. And because I think there's actually also an opportunity, sort of like in Amazon Web Services, where if the car is driving for 50 hours a week, there's still over 100 hours left. And there's a potential there to have a massive amount of distributed inference compute, where if you've got, like, say, a fleet of 100 million vehicles and a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, you have 100 gigawatts of compute, which is really quite substantial. And if it's there, you might as well use it. So, yeah, so that I think will make sense. So, all right. So our autonomous future is here. As I said, we've got 50 Teslas driving autonomously. We're trying to give you a sense of what cities will be like in the future. And when you get in, you'll see, like, it's really quite a wild experience to just be in a car with no steering wheel, no pedals, no controls, and it feels great. And we have enough vehicles here, so everyone should be able to try it out and experience the set that we've built here. It's a very big set, so it's like really, we've used, I don't know, 20, 30 acres or something like that. It's really big. So it goes on, the ride's long. And we set it up to feel like a ride, like a park ride. So it'll be cool, and you'll get to experience it tonight. Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the RoboTaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So yeah, it's kind of how it should be. Thanks, guys. I love you too. So one of the things that is really interesting is how will this affect the cities that we live in? And when you drive around a city, or when the car drives you around a city, you'll see there's a lot of parking lots. There's parking lots everywhere, parking garages. So what would happen if you have an autonomous world is that you can now turn parking lots into parks. And so we're taking the ing lot out of parking lot. Welcome. So there's a lot of opportunity to create green space in the cities that we live in. So that would be quite fantastic. Oh, and also, what happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than a Model Y? The RoboVan. The RoboVan is we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you? That'd be sick. So this can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods. So you can configure it for goods transport within a city, or transport of up to 20 people at a time. So this is gonna, the RoboVan is what's gonna solve for high density. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you're looking to really get the cost of travel down to, I don't know, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the RoboVan. Some people call it the RoboVan, but so yeah. One of the things that we want to do, and we've seen this with the Cybertruck, is we want to change the look of the roads. The future should look like the future. So, speaking of robots, so everything we've developed for our cars, the batteries, power electronics, the advanced motors, gearboxes, the software, the AI inference computer, it all actually applies to a humanoid robot. It's the same techniques. It's just a robot with arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with Optimus. And as you can see, we started up with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. And I think at scale, this would cost something like, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000. Probably less than a car, is my prediction, long term. Now, it'll take us a minute to get to the long term, but fundamentally at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind. Yeah. Because I think everyone, of the 8 billion people of Earth, I think everyone's going to want their Optimus buddy. And there's going to be maybe two, and then they'll be producing products and services. I predict, actually, provided we address risks of digital superintelligence, 80% probability of good, a good outcome. Look on the bright side. The cup is 80% full. The cost of products and services will decline dramatically, and basically anyone will be able to have any products and services they want. It will be an age of abundance, the likes of which people have almost no one has envisioned. It'll be something special. So, now one of the things we wanted to show tonight was that Optimus is not a canned video. It's not walled off. The Optimus robots will walk among you. Please be nice to the Optimus robots. So you'll be able to walk right up to them, and they'll serve drinks at the bar. And you'll directly, I mean, that's just, it's a wild experience just to have humanoid robots, and they're there, you're just in front of you. So, yeah, with that, let's party. I love you guys too. If you look at that gazebo over there, let's get the party started.
me get that back on. There we go. All right. Their audio is cut out, so I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but
Okay.
yeah, their audio just cut out. I've just heard somebody, like control room or something like that, trying to talk. Here, it's coming back. So I'm guessing that was the presentation. Okay. So I've got some takeaways. I've got a couple things. Number one, the first thing, when it came to the autonomous vehicles, the first thing he spoke to was safety. And it's true even now that autonomous vehicles are safer than, human-driven vehicles. About 40,000 people a year are killed in car accidents in America. There have been accidents with autonomous vehicles. But most of those, due to software bugs or whatever, what I'm trying to get at is the difference in the numbers. Even if there are just incredibly few accidents with an autonomous vehicle, the fact that it was operating autonomously when the accident happened is going to be able to fuel detractors. That's an arguing point for them. There are some people that are dead set against anything having to do with advanced technology, and they are going to latch on to any reason they can think of as to why people should not be using it or it's not safe or whatever. The other thing about safety, he talked about they can see all the way around them. They have sensors and so on and so forth, and all the video he showed, were people narrowly avoiding accidents. The only thing is you can't stop physics. No matter how many sensors you put around it, how much safety you have, you can't stop physics. So there will be times where an autonomous vehicle will do everything it can to avoid a collision, but just simply because of the circumstances, it still gets hit. And once again, that's another thing that detractors will be able to latch on to and fuel, dissent and not wanting to use these things. As far as having a fleet of them, that's interesting. It sounds like a great way to make money and so on and so forth. But do you remember when Uber came out? When Uber first came out, the taxi union in New York, taxi drivers union, threw an absolute fit. Taxi drivers all over the country threw a fit because it was taking money out of their pockets. Can you imagine how upset and how much of a political fight they're going to put up against something like this, autonomous vehicles, not having a human taking the taxi driver out of the equation? That's going to be interesting. A lot of those unions have a lot of weight. So, and it's a new technology, so it's not like it's something established. So it wouldn't be as difficult for them to make an argument against it. So I'm interested in seeing how that works. What was it called? The Robovin? I've made a note. Robovin. That is definitely an interesting looking vehicle. And of course, like he said, the future should look like the future. And when we first saw the Cybertruck, it pretty much stayed as it was as far as design and everything. But I'd be interested to see if that van makes it to production. And then the last thing, before I get out of here, the last thing I wanted to hit on is this robot. I'm very glad he's optimistic about it, and I certainly hope that we're headed in a direction that some conveniences are given over to AI and robotics. But I can't think of, even my richest friends, I can't think of anyone that has a convenience item, a specifically convenience item that costs $30,000. Of course, I don't know any uber rich people, But as far as regular people, because that's what he was speaking to, he was talking about how everybody will own one of these, and it can teach your whip your dog and teach your kids and go get the mail and pour drinks, and that's all great. But $30,000 for something that can pour drinks, I don't know how viable that is. And again, before the presentation, one of the things I mentioned, what I was talking about was, the robotics that we have in manufacturing and process automation now are specific to a task. So it is designed for maximum efficiency to complete a task. There's no frills, there's no, extras. It doesn't walk around or anything like that. It's stuck on an assembly line. It welds a body to a frame for a vehicle, and the next one comes down, and that's all it does. And anytime you create we'll just say a robot, when you make a robot like that, or any device really, that is good on a broad spectrum of things, its proficiency across that spectrum is reduced. So if you have a robot that is specific to one task, it is very good and very efficient at that task. If you have a robot that can perform 1,000 tasks, then its ability to perform each one of those tasks is reduced. So I'm wondering, he's speaking to everybody owning one as far as the public. I'm wondering if there is a place for something like that in a manufacturing environment. We already have autonomous devices that will pick packages out for Amazon off the shelf and package it and everything else, and they don't walk around. So the robot stuff, I think, is more for show. I'm not quite as optimistic as he is. The van, I don't know that particular design will ever make the streets or make production. But the cab is definitely a move towards the future. I could see that being viable. I could see that being profitable. I could see an entrepreneur buying 20 of them and sending them out and making money off of it, passive income off of it. But it's not going to be easy. There's going to be a big fight civilly amongst unions and everything else before that's allowed. So those are my takeaways. I'm going to dip out. I'm going to let this run until the stream ends because they're just, showing stuff off. And if you want to stick around and watch it, that's great. But I'm going to dip off camera. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate y'all watching. It's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. I will be live streaming the Starship launch Sunday morning. I'm going to start at 5 a.m. Central Time, a couple hours before it's supposed to take off. That is way more my forte. I'm more of a space guy, SpaceX guy. So I'm going to be streaming that Sunday morning. You're welcome to tune in and check it out. If they fly, we still haven't got a license from the FAA, but SpaceX is moving forward. They've installed FTS and everything else. They've installed FTS, done all the pressure tests, put charges in and everything. So they're moving forward like it's a done deal. So interested to see if the FAA issues a launch license for them tomorrow. FAA does work on the weekend, so it may be Saturday, but I'll be live streaming that Sunday morning, hoping for a booster catch. But appreciate it. I'm going to let this run. Thanks.